Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. As the title says, eBay has done some changes and has not announced them in any way, shape, or form that I am aware of. And they're all related to shipping from what I see. I've had several issues today. I spent almost an hour on the phone with eBay. The first issue was a record that I listed in a section other than records because it was a Scooby-Doo record, so I listed it in the Scooby-Doo section, which is something I've done for decades and which is something many other people do because there's other areas to sell things. If I listed certain items in records, they wouldn't be seen just because people aren't always looking for a record. They don't know what they're looking for in the collectibles. Collectibles are not like any of the other fields. And with this item and eBay's new changes, I was blocked from being able to use media mail in eBay's shipping options. Nowhere could I ship it media mail because of the category that I listed it in. Mind you, eBay allowed that to be listed as a media shipping item in that category. They also billed the person who purchased it media rate shipping based on my picking, but they would not allow me to ship it, which is crazy. No other platform have ever seen that would not allow me to use a legal means to ship something based on something that they decided. This is a policy eBay had 15 or 20 years ago that I thought was long since gotten rid of because I've done this for years and years. I would not even recommend listing certain records in the records section because they'll sell so much better in other sections depending on the music itself. If it's a horror record, obviously you'd list it somewhere else. There's just so many other options to do this. Records for movies and things along that line can go in the entertainment section. So again, this is something that wasn't a policy up until very recently. And I asked the employee as well, very nice, very friendly. He was a concierge apparently at eBay Opened as well. I asked him where it stated that this was a fact that I couldn't do this. Nowhere could he find any statement that said I couldn't ship media in another category. He did bring up other things from way back in the past and other reasons why eBay said they're not doing certain things. All he could tell me is that's just the way it is. eBay has decided to do it. It's not a policy, it's just an action that they're doing. Doesn't help us again. So many people have items listed in different categories. If eBay is now going back and changing all of that statements without allowing you any notice, then you're going to come to the day when you're going to print one of these items and not be able to ship it because it's not in a category that allows a certain type of shipping. Again, on any other platform, Amazon, Etsy, I can just ship it as long as it's legal without an issue, no matter where I listed, no matter how the item was stated. As long as that's what the purchaser was stated they would be shipped means-wise, I could ship it that way. Not anymore, apparently. No announcements, no nothing. This could affect millions of people who have it, and you won't know till the very end. Now, the second issue I had, which seems to be a glitch, was related to a international first-class package of another record that I was shipping. It was a 78. They weigh about 3 pounds when you ship them. It would not allow me to ship first-class international. It did not even give me an option to ship first-class international at all. No matter what they did, I couldn't do it. I ended up having to print it perfectly fine without any issues through PayPal. But again, it would not allow me to do that. It would not even give me an option, even after eBay got back on the phone and said, try this, try this. Even the options they told me should work still would not allow me to do first-class international shipping for a record. I just shipped a first-class international record the same way. Same weight, same everything, no issues. I had to go in PayPal and ship this one just to get it out today without having to run to the post office. eBay did, though, credit me the difference, but I was on the phone for 30 or 40 minutes trying to get this figured out. Again, no answer on what this is going on with this. I have to assume that they're related because neither of these issues came up just in the last couple items I shipped the same way. You shouldn't be required to ship a specific way. Now, their answer to me on the media not being able to ship for another category was due to theft and people trying to send items that were heavy via media. I can understand that, but we're talking about a record, obviously, in the title of the item. If somebody wanted to, they could just list the clothing then in the media section and then still get by with doing it. It doesn't stop the issue. It's very frustrating when they do stuff like this. Now, I know it's not a huge ordeal, but this is just ridiculous that now I have to go back in and check every single record that I have. and make sure that it's only in a media section, which means many of those may not sell as quickly or as high because I can't correctly market them to customers. A good example of this would be trying to search out Superman. Many people may be interested in a Superman record, but they won't look for it because that's not specifically what they're looking for. But if you list a Superman record, shows him comic-wise on the cover, really nice image of it, people buy those when you list them in the comics section. Right category, wrong category, not, it's a fact that collectibles can sell in other categories because of other aspects, like Superman, for example. If you're searching down for Superman, though, you're a comic book collector, you're not going to search in non-comic book sections, even though you might be interested in buying that if you saw it. That's a lot of the items that we sell are like window shopping. They don't know they want it. It's not something they really want, but when they see it in front of them, many times it will sell far quicker than it ever would if I listed it in a record section. The eBay rep recommended me to make sure I put the information in the title. Sometimes you don't have room in the title. And sometimes if you put all the information in the title, it may not sell as quick because, again, they may not be looking for a record when they're doing these searches. They are going to narrow it down to get rid of the other 500,000 Superman items that aren't related to what they may be interested in. There's Superman video games, there's Superman movies, there's Superman clothing, there's Superman shoes, there's all kinds of other items that aren't related. So they are going to use the categories to narrow down their search. It's just a fact in what we do. For those of you who get the recommendations for categories and things like that, a lot of the times they are correct in new items, clothing, video games, and movies, but in collectibles, it's not the same. It should be a totally exempt category. If you followed the directions and the recommendations for many of the collectibles items that you would be listing, they're not going to sell because eBay's recommendations on those items just aren't good. So bottom line, if you've got a record or anything media in any other category other than that specific item, you darn well better change it out, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to ship it media mail, even though it's 100% legal to ship media mail, because for whatever reason, eBay has decided that you're not allowed to ship media mail unless you list it in the media category. Wrong, right, or not, that's the case. There's many items that are political, for example, that would be listed in the collectibles political section that would be records or musical related or media. There would be no other safe place to list them to ensure a sale unless you list them in a political section. Just because the music section is impossible to look for certain items due to the sheer quantity, there may be a million things similar in title or construction to what you wanted to list. So if you have this issue, you're going to have to call eBay. There's no other way around it. There's no other way to block it. There is no answer on why they did it, why they did not announce that they were going to do this at all. It is something I have done for decades, since they abandoned this archaic policy 15 or 20 years ago. So I guess we're going back to the Stone Age with eBay again with this. The glitch-wise with the first-class international shipping, we'll have to wait and see. If it happens again, I'm not going to be happy at all. You know, I do sell on other platforms because of these types of issues. eBay is not the dominating factor anymore. You know, obviously it's Amazon. The other ones, Poshmark, McCrary, Bonanza, Ruby Lane, they're all small fries, though, still. So nobody's out there to challenge eBay. Amazon is the ruling factor. You know, we do sell on Amazon too, but this is part of the reason why people get frustrated with eBay. If you look at the shipping ways, how they've changed it, and unannounced shipping changes and random changes, random options showing up, you don't have any of these on other platforms. All of my listings as well use the business policies to ship. So I've got business policies for everything. There should be no reason I would have to worry about that. eBay allowed me to list items with these options, but they won't allow you to ship with those options. It makes no sense. Double standards across the board, but they won't allow you to legally ship a media item, media mail. It makes no sense. But enough of the rant for today. Hopefully they fix the issue with First Class International. The media issue looks like it's a permanent change. If you're like me and many of the thousands of other people who list things in categories that will sell them quicker as opposed to a specific category, you know what I'm talking about in this aspect. I would suggest complaining the first time it happens, calling eBay and filing a report on it. This is not something they should do without announcing that they are going to do it. eBay seems to be the only platform this would happen in as well. I'm on 9 platforms. I have never had any issues like this whatsoever, where I was denied the ability to send something legally wise the way I'm allowed to send it in that fashion. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you do have that same issue, I would recommend complaining and calling eBay and hoping they would fix it. But again, Don the Auction Professor, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.